What up, teacups? It's your favorite Vlogmother, and today all your wishes are coming true because we are doing our very first installment of Sadistic Storytime. And what that is I will be reading you a lovely fairy tale here today that I have rewritten lovingly in my own words at or above the original word count. And while I read you this wonderful tale, I will be ingesting some capsaicin. Today we have Blair's Megadeth sauce. This is about 550 Scoville units, which is almost twice as hot as a habanero pepper. And so, needless to say, do not try this at home. I'm incredibly stupid, but I do hope you enjoy yourselves while I'm doing this. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take this little olive fork here and just jam that right in there, stir it all up. And one thing I should mention is I have this lovely glass of milk over here, which I will not be able to touch until I finish this story. Now, this particular story is kind of long, so long that I've had to split it up into 3 episodes, so I will not be able to touch that wonderful milk until the end of all 3 episodes, and if I feel the need, I will recharge on hot sauce at the beginning of each episode. We're just going to get this nice and deep in there, getting all that wonderful hot sauce on there, trying not to drip it everywhere, and you can see it's pretty well coated, and I'm just going to take the whole thing. Getting it all up on my tongue, regretting all of my life choices. Okay, this was dumb. In any case, once upon a time there was a king, though apparently no one could be bothered to remember his name or where his damn kingdom was at. He had no sons but one sickly ass daughter who had been sick her entire damn life, and no doctors or nurses or anybody had yet been able to fix that shit. Then some genius of the king's court was like, well, an apple a day kind of like keeps doctors away and stuff, sir. So the king, in his infinite wisdom, told everybody in the whole kingdom that the first apple having due to bring her the fruit would have her as his lawfully wedded waifu and become king of the whole damn country. Now news of this reached the ears of the farmer, who had 3 sons. Their names were Yuli, Sham, and Hans. And everyone for some reason referred to Hans as Dumbass Hans. So, the farmer said to his eldest son, Yuli, boy, get your fine ass out in the garden and take that poor girl a basket of them red-cheeked apples. My eyes are watering. But you're gonna be king, son, he said to Yuli. And so Yuli went and did that thing. And so on his way to the king's castle, Yuli ran into the little Iron Man. That's just what the book says, don't quote me on that. And this little Iron Man's name was definitely not Tony Stark, not even a little bit. I don't know where you're going with this, where are you going with this? Good, glad we got that established. So, Tony asks him, what's in the basket? And Yuli's smartass replies, frog's legs, duh! And Tony's just as calm as can be like, why yes they are. So Yuli finally gets himself to the palace, and he wastes no time letting all the guards know that he's got the goods. He's got the apples for the princess. Apples all up in this basket. And this made the king so very happy that he whisked Yuli into his throne room, but when they opened the basket, guess what? It was frog legs. It was all frog's legs, all slimy and twitching and kicking and everything. And you best believe that the king was pissed and had Yuli bodily ejected from the building. And when he went back to his daddy with his tail between his legs and told him the whole damn story. And so his daddy calls to the next brother, Sham. S-E-A-M-E. Sham. Don't ask, I don't know. And he tells him to try his luck. And all the same shit happens to him again, except Sham tells the Iron Man that he's got a basket full of hog's bristles instead, whatever the fuck hog's bristles are. And Sham shows up at the palace, and the guards are like, nah, we ain't falling for this shit again. And Sham is like, no, for realsies, for super cereal, guys, it's just apples. So they let him in, but there are just cereally hog's bristles in there. And the king is now even more hoppin' mad than before, and has Sham whipped out of the castle this time. And Sham goes back home and whines about it to his daddy as well. And so dumbass Hans goes to his father and asks if he can have a try. And his daddy is like, well, if your 2 fuckwit brothers couldn't do it, what makes your dumbass think that you can? Hans is hell-bent on marrying the princess and showing up his brothers. So he puts his foot down and he says, well, fuck you too, I'm doing it anyway. To which his daddy replies, fine then, just get out of here, I'm sick of looking at your dumb face. And Hans marches himself to bed and is so jazzed that he can hardly sleep that whole night. Dreaming of the princess and not having his face on fire like me. Good dreams all around. But at dark, fucking 30 in the morning, Hans skips his merry butt into the garden, stuffs his basket full of apples, and traipses off to the castle. And who does he see in the town square? The little Iron Man, Mr. Tony Stark. And so Mr. Stark looks at Hans and asks him, what's in the basket? And Hans says to him, these apples. You see these apples? These apples are so red and so juicy that they're not just going to make the princess healthy again. Oh no. They're going to make her so ripped, so jacked, that she is going to win Miss Bodybuilding Universe. And then we are going to rule said universe together as husband and heavyweight champion wife. Capiche? To which Tony can only respond, exactly. Have a nice day, Mr. Universe. And so Hans waltzes himself and his Appleroids up to the castle. But at this point, the guards are having none of this. And after delivering them the same sales pitch that he gave to Mr. Tony Stark, they are so bedazzled that they have no choice but to allow him inside. And Hans is led into the king's throne room, and Hans walks right up to the king's throne, holds his basket right under the king's nose, whips the basket open, and boom, apples for days. Apples so great, they'll keep fucking Time Lords away. And the king grabs some of these apples, shoves them in the princess's face, and you know what? Princess Apple Schwarzenegger comes strutting out of her sick bed and wins Miss Universe, Mr. Universe, and Steven Universe all at the same time right then and there. And she takes one look at Hans and says, marry me if you want to be king, get to the chopper! And don't get me wrong, the king is very pumped that his daughter is entirely too healthy right now, but you see, the thing is, he's a massive douche canoe. Not only did he promise his daughter to any old schmuck with an apple, he really doesn't want to keep his word about it either. And so he gives Hans the ridiculously easy task of building a boat which can go faster on land than it does in the water. Child's play, I know. And as you might imagine, that's going to launch an entirely new story arc, so we are going to leave that episode here and pick it up in the next one and see how Sham does with his impossible boat building quest. But thank you guys so much for watching. Please let me know in the comments below what other torture methods you'd like me to use, or if there are any other hot sauces you'd like to suggest. I'll be slowly working my way up the Scoville scale. I'll be filming 2 episodes right after this one, and I will not be touching that milk. And I will be taking more hot sauce at the start of each new episode. So stay tuned for more pain and suffering. And also please check out the poll in the description below, and who knows, your wish just might get granted. Toodles!